I loved Little Richard and Bats Domino, and of course Chuck Berry.
Robby Krieger was the guitarist who created the distinctive psychedelic sound that made the Doors famous. He wrote some of rock music's most memorable songs and developed a unique style that blended different musical traditions. When he played classics like Light My Fire and Love Me Two Times, listeners heard influences from flamenco, blues, jazz, and rock all woven together. Krieger and his bandmates shared a love for blues music, which made it natural for them to explore these various styles. His approach emphasized fingerstyle, playing, and slide guitar techniques, which gave the Doors their mysterious and atmospheric sound. Unlike many rock guitarists who focused on power and speed, Krieger valued melody in creating the right mood. When Krieger shared his list of 10 favorite guitarists, many rock fans were surprised by his choices. This wasn't a typical collection of famous rock guitar heroes. Instead, Krieger had studied masters of flamenco, jazz, and blues who valued musical complexity and sophistication. His selections demonstrated that becoming a great guitarist requires learning from diverse musical traditions. These musicians taught him that combining technical skill with artistic vision creates music that lasts forever. Krieger always placed musicality and originality above raw power. He respected guitarists who thought like composers and developed new ways of expressing themselves through their instrument. He understood that playing fast means nothing without melodic sense and emotional depth. His list included flamenco virtuosos, jazz innovators, and blues legends who expanded what the guitar could express. Sabicas was Krieger's 10th choice, a guitarist who transformed flamenco and introduced this tradition to audiences worldwide. Sabicas combined incredible speed and precision with deep emotional expression. He played pure flamenco with technical ability that seemed almost impossible to achieve. Krieger discovered Sabicas as a teenager, and this discovery completely changed how he approached the guitar. Nowadays, many people want to become rock stars, but Sabicas represented something different. He performed complex rasgueado strumming patterns and lightning, fast picado runs without any mistakes. His nylon string guitar produced warm tones that carried both power and delicacy. Sabicas could play furiously fast passages or slow, emotional melodies with equal skill. Krieger admired how Sabicas combined traditional flamenco forms with his own artistic vision. What made Sabicas especially important was his role in bringing flamenco guitar to American audiences. He toured extensively and influenced many rock guitarists who discovered flamenco through his recordings. Krieger said that Sabicas opened his eyes to what the guitar could really accomplish. Sabicas taught him that fingerstyle technique could create orchestral sounds from a single guitar. Django Reinhardt earned the 9th position on Krieger's list. Reinhardt created gypsy jazz guitar despite having only 2 working fingers on his fretting hand due to an injury. His incredible technique and musical genius completely overcame his physical limitations. Reinhardt played acoustic guitar with speed that seemed superhuman. Krieger studied his records carefully and learned that limitations could inspire innovation rather than prevent greatness. Reinhardt's performances on classics like Minor Swing featured blazing runs combined with beautiful melodic ideas. His Selmer guitar produced cutting tones that were perfect for jazz improvisation. Reinhardt created an entirely new vocabulary for jazz guitar playing. Krieger appreciated how Reinhardt played with joy despite facing difficult circumstances throughout his life. What set Reinhardt apart from other players was his combination of technical mastery and gypsy soul. He played with a fire that came from Romani musical traditions. Krieger praised Reinhardt as proof that genius conquers everything. Reinhardt influenced jazz, rock, and world music. His approach taught Krieger that having a personal voice matters more than having perfect technique. Charlie Christian came in at number 8. Christian invented modern jazz guitar and influenced every jazz player who came after him. His work with Benny Goodman brought the electric guitar into jazz as a lead instrument. Christian played Gibson ES-150 guitars and created the first important jazz guitar solos. He became known as the father of modern jazz electric guitar because he was the first guitarist to successfully use the amplifier in this way. Krieger recognized Christian as the father of electric jazz guitar. Christian's playing on songs like Solo Flight featured horn, like phrasing and sophisticated harmonic knowledge. His single-note lines were both melodic and swinging at the same time. Christian could improvise complex bebop lines years before bebop officially existed as a style. Krieger loved how Christian made the electric guitar equal to the saxophone in jazz music. What made Christian irreplaceable was his role in creating jazz guitar vocabulary from nothing. He invented the language that all jazz guitarists still speak today. Krieger stated that Christian showed the electric guitar belonged in serious music. Christian died tragically at age 25, but his brief career influenced generations of jazz and rock guitarists permanently. Wes Montgomery earned the 7th spot on the list. Montgomery became jazz guitar's warmest and most soulful voice during the 1960s. His thumb-picking technique created unique tones that nobody else could achieve. Montgomery played Gibson guitars and created incredibly lyrical improvisations. Krieger studied Montgomery's records obsessively and learned about chord melody playing and octave techniques. Montgomery's work on albums like The Incredible Jazz Guitar showcased perfect taste combined with technical brilliance. His octave playing became his signature sound. Montgomery could play bebop, blues, and beautiful ballads with equal mastery. Krieger appreciated how Montgomery made complex jazz accessible to mainstream audiences without compromising his artistry. What elevated Montgomery above others was his combination of technical innovation and pure soul. He played with warmth that touched listeners emotionally. Krieger called Montgomery the most beautiful guitarist in jazz history. Montgomery influenced rock guitarists like George Benson and countless others. His approach showed that technique should serve emotional expression. Chuck Berry claimed the 6th position. Berry created rock and roll guitar language and influenced every rock guitarist completely. His work in the 1950s established the vocabulary that all rock players still use today. Berry combined brilliant songwriting with revolutionary guitar playing. Krieger recognized Berry as the absolute foundation of rock guitar, despite his own psychedelic style being quite different. Berry's introductions to Johnny B. Good and Roll Over Beethoven are among music's most famous guitar moments. His double-string bending technique became standard for rock guitarists worldwide. Berry's Gibson ES-355 produced clear, cutting tones that defined the rock sound. Krieger loved how Berry made guitar playing visually exciting with his famous duck walk. What made Berry essential was his completeness as both artist and innovator. He wrote perfect songs, sang them brilliantly, and played revolutionary guitar. Krieger stated that Berry invented the foundation for everything rock became. Berry's influence on the Doors came through his songwriting as much as his guitar playing. John Coltrane, a jazz saxophonist, came in 5th place. Though Coltrane revolutionized jazz saxophone, Robby Krieger studied him as a guitarist would. Coltrane's approach to improvisation and harmony influenced Krieger's guitar solos enormously. His modal playing and sheets of sound technique showed new ways to think about improvisation. Krieger listened to Coltrane constantly while developing his own style. Coltrane's work on albums like Giant Steps and A Love Supreme showcased harmonic sophistication beyond most musicians' understanding. His improvisations explored every possible note combination over chord changes. Coltrane could play incredibly complex lines or simple spiritual melodies. Krieger appreciated how Coltrane constantly pushed boundaries and never stopped evolving musically. What made Coltrane crucial to Krieger was showing that rock guitar could incorporate jazz thinking. Coltrane's modal approach influenced the Doors' psychedelic improvisations directly. Krieger stated that Coltrane taught him how to think beyond blues scales. Coltrane influenced Krieger's entire approach to soloing and improvisation permanently. Albert King earned 4th place on the list. King played left-handed guitar upside down and created one of blues music's most powerful sounds. His string bending and vibrato communicated pure emotion without wasted notes. King's Gibson Flying V played through loud amplifiers produced tones that influenced rock guitarists enormously. Krieger studied King's records and learned how bending strings could express everything that words couldn't say. King's work on songs like Born Under a Bad Sign showcased raw power combined with sophisticated phrasing. His sustained bends seemed to last forever. King played with incredible strength and made every note count dramatically. Krieger loved how King could make 3 notes say more than other guitarists said with 30 notes. What made King irreplaceable was his complete originality and refusal to play conventionally. He created unique tuning and fingering systems. Krieger praised King for proving that individual voice matters most. King influenced Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, and countless rock guitarists. His emotional intensity showed Krieger that feeling beats technical ability. B.B. King secured the 3rd position. He became the king of blues guitar through decades of passionate, soulful expression. His Gibson ES-355, which he named Lucille, produced the most expressive guitar tone in music history. King's vibrato and string bending communicated emotions that went beyond words completely. Krieger studied King's phrasing carefully and learned that silence mattered as much as notes. King's work on classics like The Thrill Is Gone showcased perfect musical intelligence and restraint. He never played fast or showed off technical ability unnecessarily. King made every single note count emotionally and melodically. Krieger appreciated how King could make audiences cry with just a few perfectly placed bends. What elevated King above almost everyone was his pure emotional honesty and authenticity. He played from his heart with complete sincerity. Krieger stated that King proved the guitar should touch souls, not impress musicians. King's influence spread across blues, rock, and soul music. His approach taught Krieger that heart beats technique every time. Miles Davis, another jazz horn player, came in 2nd place. Davis revolutionized jazz trumpet, but influenced Robby Krieger's guitar playing profoundly. Davis's modal approach and use of space changed how Krieger thought about improvisation. His albums like Kind of Blue showed that less could be more musically. Krieger listened to Miles constantly while developing the Doors' psychedelic sound. What made Davis crucial was his influence on the Doors' approach to psychedelic improvisation. Davis showed that rock could incorporate modal jazz thinking. Krieger stated that Davis taught him that space and silence create tension. Davis's modal approach influenced songs like Light My Fire directly. His artistic vision shaped Krieger's entire musical philosophy. Andres Segovia claimed the #1 spot as Robby Krieger's ultimate guitar hero. Segovia elevated classical guitar to concert hall status and influenced Krieger more than any rock guitarist. Segovia played nylon string guitars and performed back classical Spanish composers and contemporary works. Krieger placed Segovia at #1 because Segovia proved the guitar could be high art. Segovia's playing showcased absolute technical mastery combined with deep musical understanding. His tone was warm, clear, and perfectly controlled. Segovia could play delicate Renaissance pieces or powerful Spanish works with equal mastery. Krieger studied Segovia's fingerstyle technique obsessively and incorporated classical approaches into rock music. What made Segovia irreplaceable was his dedication to elevating the guitar's status in classical music. He commissioned new works from major composers. Krieger stated that Segovia showed the guitar deserved respect as a serious artistic instrument. Segovia's influence on Krieger's fingerstyle approach was absolutely profound. His classical discipline shaped the Doors' unique sound permanently. Robby Krieger's list proves that studying diverse musical traditions creates original artistic voices. These guitarists showed that technical mastery combined with artistic vision creates timeless music. The variety in his choices reflects his belief that great guitarists can come from any genre and that each tradition has valuable lessons to offer. By learning from flamenco masters, jazz innovators, blues legends, and classical virtuosos, Krieger developed his own distinctive voice that helped define the sound of 60s rock music.